Welcome back. Today, we're looking at Google Flow, one of Google's most important creative AI tools for the next generation of filmmaking. At first glance, it may look like just another AI video generator, but Flow is designed to be much more than that. It is a full creative workspace where prompts, visual assets, scenes, edits, characters, and story ideas can all come together in one place. In other words, this is not just about generating random video clips. It is about turning imagination into a production-ready creative process. And that shift could completely change how creators make videos. So, what exactly is Google Flow? Flow is a single creative workspace powered by Google's generative AI models. VO handles cinematic video generation. Gemini helps interpret natural language and creative direction. Imagen and other image models support visual assets and references. And Flow brings all of these pieces together into one production environment. The important point here is that creators no longer have to jump between separate tools for every step. Instead of thinking like a traditional video editor, you can start thinking more like a director. You describe what you want, adjust the result, refine the scene, and keep building from there. That is the core idea behind Flow. The first major creative experience is turning ideas into scenes. With Flow, creators can combine text prompts, images, video references, and other visual materials into what Google calls reusable creative ingredients. These ingredients can be characters, objects, locations, visual styles, or specific scene elements. Once you create them, you can reuse them across multiple shots. That matters because one of the biggest problems with AI video has always been consistency. A character might look right in one clip, then completely different in the next. Flow is trying to solve that by helping creators build scenes from reusable assets instead of starting from scratch every time. So the workflow becomes much more practical. You create ingredients, you turn them into clips, then you connect those clips into a story. The second major feature is natural language editing. This is where Flow starts to feel very different from traditional production software. Instead of manually adjusting every layer, timeline, mask, and effect, you can simply describe the edit you want. For example, you might say, remove this object, extend the shot, pan left while keeping the character consistent. Flow is built around this kind of conversational refinement. It supports prompt-based changes, lasso-style selections, adding and removing objects, extending clips, and directing camera movement. The creative impact is huge. You spend less time fighting software and more time directing the result. Basically, fix it in post becomes less of a nightmare and more of an actual conversation. A small miracle, considering how much pain humans have voluntarily packed into editing software. The third key point is cinematic control. A lot of AI video tools can generate interesting clips, but they can also feel random. Flow is designed to give creators more control over the actual shot. That includes camera movement, angles, pans, zooms, perspective, and scene continuation. With Scene Builder, creators can extend shots while trying to preserve motion and continuity. And with Veo's native audio capabilities, Flow can also support sound effects, ambience, and dialogue. This is important because filmmaking is not just about pretty images. It is about timing, movement, sound, mood, and story. Flow is trying to give creators control over all of those parts, not just the visual output. That is what makes it closer to a production tool than a simple video generator. Next is Flow Tools. This is one of the most interesting parts of the platform. Flow Tools allows creators to build custom AI utilities using natural language. For example, instead of manually creating the same overlay effect again and again, you could create a tool for it. You could build tools for text overlays, resizing, visual effects, sketch rendering, repeated edits, or format changes. And the best part is that these tools can be shared and remixed. That means creators are not only making videos, they are also building reusable mini workflows. In practical terms, this is no-code automation for creative production. You do not need to be a programmer. You describe what the tool should do, and Flow helps turn that into something usable inside the workspace. For solo creators and small teams, that could be incredibly powerful. Another major feature is Flow Agent. This is the part that turns Flow from a simple creative tool into something closer to a collaborative production partner. Flow Agent can help when you are stuck at the blank page stage. You can ask for shot ideas, storyboard directions, mood options, style suggestions, or different ways to improve a scene. Instead of spending hours searching for references, you can explore visual directions directly inside the workflow. This changes the creator's role. You are not just clicking through menus anymore. You are shaping ideas with an AI partner that can suggest, generate, and iterate with you. That does not mean the AI replaces creative judgment. The creator still decides what works. But Flow Agent can make the early creative process much faster and less lonely. It is like having a co-director available whenever your brain decides to stare into the void and contribute absolutely nothing. Google Flow is also being built with mobile creation in mind. The desktop version remains the most powerful editing environment, but mobile support opens up a very different workflow. Creators can shoot footage, generate ideas, refine assets, and move toward short-form video output much faster. This matters especially for YouTube Shorts, TikTok-style content, campaign drafts, and quick concept testing. The practical value is speed. You can test a format, build reference assets, generate a rough scene, and prepare content for publishing without needing a full studio setup. For modern creators, that speed is everything. The faster you can test ideas, the faster you can learn what actually works. And unfortunately, the internet does not reward, "I spent 3 weeks polishing this." It rewards, "This got attention in 3 seconds." Flow fits perfectly into that reality. The real story behind Google Flow is not just faster rendering. It is a new relationship between imagination and production. First, solo creators can start working more like micro studios. One person can now brainstorm, generate visuals, test scenes, create variations, and refine ideas at a scale that used to require a much larger team. Second, ideas can be tested visually before full production begins. Instead of only writing a script or making a mood board, creators can quickly generate scenes and see whether the idea actually works. Third, reusable worlds can replace one-off prompts. Characters, locations, and styles can become part of an ongoing creative system. That means the bottleneck changes. The question is no longer just, "Can I use the tool?" The question becomes, "Do I actually know what I want to make?" A little rude, but extremely useful. When we compare traditional production with the Flow workflow, the difference becomes obvious. In traditional production, planning often means mood boards, references, rough scripts, and manual storyboarding. With Flow, that can become agent-assisted ideation and storyboarding. For asset creation, the traditional approach requires shooting footage, buying stock assets, or creating materials manually. With Flow, creators can generate scenes from text, images, and reusable ingredients. For refinement, traditional editing depends heavily on timelines, layers, revisions, and manual adjustments. With Flow, many of those changes can happen through natural language edits and precision controls. And when it comes to scaling content, things like resizing, captions, effects, and repeated formatting can become reusable custom tools. So the loop becomes much shorter. Prompt, preview, refine, publish. That shorter loop is what makes Flow so important for YouTube creators.
So that is Google Flow. Not just an AI video generator, but a creative workspace that combines generation, editing, planning, and reusable tools into one production loop. For YouTube creators, short-form video makers, marketers, and independent filmmakers, this could become a major shift. The biggest advantage is not simply speed. It is the ability to move from idea to visual result almost instantly. And in a world where content moves faster every year, that may become one of the most valuable creative advantages. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to subscribe for more updates on AI tools, creator workflows, and the future of filmmaking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.